Okay. Good morning, everyone. It is about 8:03. We're going to go ahead and get started so we can take best advantage of the time we have together. I want to thank you all for joining us. My name is Dixie Patrick, and I'm with the Austin Independent Business Alliance. I want to welcome our members. Thank you for joining us this morning and for adjusting to a earlier than normal start time for an AiBA event. And to the local businesses who are here with us who are not yet AiBA members, I'd like to welcome you as well. Sorry to be getting acquainted with you under these circumstances, but I'm very glad to have you. This is, as you know, a critical time for local business in Austin and around the country. We know that you're being faced with really painful decisions and that this is a very stressful time. And before we get started, I want to say that AiBA is here for you. We can brainstorm with you. We can help you make connections. We can just listen and provide moral support. Supporting our members in all of these ways is central to the mission of our organization. So please reach out to us if you need anything. As we looked for ways to support our members as this situation unfolded, we did what we always do, and we looked to our members for resources. And we are so grateful for Scott Finkelstein, who's with ActionCoach Business Coaching, for his willingness to present today. Scott is going to walk us through an actionable plan to help you get your business through this really strange period of time that we find ourselves in. Prior to starting his own company here in Austin, Scott has racked up more than 3 decades of experience growing companies to more than $6 billion in revenue. When he's not helping clients deal with situations like the one we're in right now, he is helping business owners reach the next level of success, both in business and in life. So we're grateful to have you here, Scott. I'm going to now hand it over. Thank you. I'm going to hand it over to Scott, and we're going to go through his presentation. And there will be a question and answer session at the end. So if you do have questions, you'll have the opportunity to ask them. And I'll hand you the mic, Scott. Thank you.
Thank you, Dixie. I appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. I want to just all first say good morning, and I know, as Dixie said, we're going through some interesting times, to say the least. I want to congratulate you all for taking some time out of what's I'm sure a busy and hectic time to be on a call like this and to gather the information you need so you can make well-informed decisions to the best of your ability. So thank you for that. Just a couple of housekeeping things. We will be in listen-only mode. There's a chat function on Zoom. Please use that. As you think of questions, please type them in there. When we get done, we'll have a Q&A. I'll get through as many questions as possible, so we can do that. I'll also show you at the end, I'm offering out complimentary coaching sessions for those who want to get a little more detailed in regards to their business and the things they can do from what you learned today. So with that said, we will kick off. So the first thing, as we look at this is, we're going to do 11 steps you need to know now. And it really does start with communication. Communication is key. And I used to like to talk about the term we call FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt is where chaos grows. And we don't want to grow chaos. We want to get rid of FUD, right? We need to be open and honest in our communication. And we need to communicate often so we can ease the fears. And fears, to me, represents false expectations appearing real. And we're not sure. There's a lot of unknowns in here. So we don't want to, through lack of communication, not know what is real and what's not. So you need to provide guidance to your team and help them understand what is going on, what they may need to do differently. Let them know you have or are working on a plan. A plan is many things, right? We are assessing the situation and determining next steps. We are talking with experts and leaders in our community. Let them know you're talking with your coach, your advisors, everyone. Let them know you are leading. You're leading from the front in this situation. And yes, there will be change, and we will stay on one step ahead of change in the environment by gathering information, collaborating with other leaders and business owners in the community, and collaborating also with your own team in making the best decision possible with the information you have. So how are you communicating with your customers? We're all getting the emails from the airlines and the hotels, got a couple from the gym today, restaurants, even Office Depot and Staples are sending out emails. So how are you communicating with your customers? What is your message about the situation to ease their fears, right? To let them know you are still doing business. Now, I know for some of us, maybe we're not doing business right now. We had a pause, but again, how are you communicating that? How are you protecting them while you serve them if they are coming into your place, or some of the things we'll talk about that you can do. One of my clients is a fitness gym, small fitness gym. And over the week, now to this morning, he is going to announce he's going to shut down the gym for 2 weeks, but he's talking about he's launching at-home programs. But prior to that, he's been communicating with them of the new procedures that they were doing. You know, testing for temperature before someone walked into the gym, making everyone having to schedule before they come in so they can control how many people are in there, making people wash their hands before they actually come into the gym, halfway through workouts, having to go wash their hands. So they've been communicating. One of my local restaurants here has been doing the same, one of my favorite places to go. So again, how are you communicating? Many of your competitors are hiding. They do not have a plan. They are not on calls like this getting advanced guidance. And lack of communication is a form of communication. Now, it's bad communication. So show your clients you are a leader in the community in your business, right? How about your networks and your suppliers? Do you need to ask them for favors of sorts? Talking with some of my clients, we're coaching them to maybe reach out to their landlord. Can they get a pause on rent? Can they get a reduction in different suppliers that they have? Do you need a change in terms? Let them know you are strong, but maybe need some help to stay strong and keep doing business with them, right? They need certainty and cash flow just like you do. So again, without communication, we have FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. People don't know if your business is open, if you're changing operations, are you cleaning more or less? How are you protecting them and your team as well? It's really important that we communicate often again. What about your community? Many of us here on this call are leaders in our community. So go take the lead. Communicate to help, again, reduce the FUD that's going on out there. Economic downturns are not just about actual events. We know lack of communication, again, brings the fear. And that makes people run and hide. Communicate and help bring confidence during uncertain times to all. Your family, your team, your community, your suppliers. Show them how you are helping the community. Some leaders around the world, as we know, are communicating poorly, and some not at all. The great thing is, by the way, we don't have to be politicians. We can be realists. We can speak the truth. You know, hey, this virus is dangerous, but it's not the end of the world. We are taking precautions, as we all should, but we are still doing business where we can and as needed, because people need business. There's things that everyone needs. We don't know how long this may last, but we are starting to get some ideas, by the way. We can see in China and Italy and other places that it's slowing down. I was reading, I'm going to throw some stats at you as we talk. These are the stats I pulled last night, so I know we're in an ever-changing environment. But China's down to below 20 cases per day now. So we've seen getting over the hump in the bottom side of the curve. Now, we don't know the exact numbers will be in the end, but let's put some things into context, right? Let's understand, and again, just take a breath. Now, the speed at which panic occurs is probably the biggest problem we have, much more than the actual illness. So again, communication is the critical element. How and what you communicate as well as often is critical in all areas that you need to, okay? So make sure you're communicating. How about we be positive, right? You have a choice, and that's what a lot of people are forgetting. We actually have choice. We can choose to grow fear or be a leader to help others through this, right? The most important part is you have a choice. Will you be in FUD or positivity, right? You can be a leader of your team, your community, or you cannot. Well, again, what is your choice? You're choosing to be on a call like this today. I'm sure you're on other calls as well and gathering information because you want to be that leader. So again, choose to be positive, right? We know that panic and worry is not going to help. Breathe, right? We need to just breathe so that many of us around us can do the same, you know? So like me, I know a lot of us have been to the grocery stores, which has been an interesting way to get placed these days. And by the way, I'm big on energies around me. And just walking through the grocery store, Yesterday I started to increase my own anxiety. And I was like, what's going on, right? No bread. A few days ago, no toilet paper. By the way, I was in Target yesterday, and right front and center, they had a whole bunch of toilet paper as well as paper towels. So some things are improving, right? But just going to the stores can increase anxiety. And then I just kind of realized, and I stopped. I took a breath and just focused on what I needed to do and realized the world's not coming to an end. We're fine, right? So you got to keep that in mind, right? Again, let's be the beacon of positivity. Let's look for the small wins. How about this? Hey, there's no traffic today. We all complain about the traffic in Austin. Well, right now it's a little lighter. So, we're working from home. Maybe we're working some less hours. What's the positive? Where's the silver lining? Maybe we have time to read that book we haven't read before. Spend more time with our family. Catch up on a Netflix series. Again, find wins and positive thoughts and help others do the same, right? Maybe we can sell some toilet paper. Some of our clients are online retailers. I know some of you on here are. This is a huge opportunity for them. And yes, while it might not be comfortable to say it, but there is opportunity in crisis. Maybe you don't like hearing that, and some of us don't. But again, people, you're a leader, you've got a business. We have to look at where there are opportunities. What do we need to do a little different? What do you need to do differently to sell your products and services, right? Sometimes less is more, right? We know the news is mostly damaging. Believe it or not, at ActionCoach, we actually teach and preach to our clients to stay away from the news most days. And now, yes, I'm watching it just like I know many of you are now. But absolutely, my energy shifts when I do. My attitude is affected because what is the news telling us? Doom and gloom mostly. Yes, you're going to watch it. We need to stay up to date, to be informed and have guidance of what we need to do and be a leader, but we also need to take that and be a calming voice in the Austin community. And again, less is more. We don't need to watch the news 24/7, right? I read yesterday there's about, I believe, 6 cases in Austin of the coronavirus. And that's 6 among over, 2.3 million, 2.4 million people here. So our city's pretty safe right now. And obviously we're doing a lot of things to keep that down. But again, the news reports, that there's bad stuff going on and all the big numbers. Look at our numbers here. Some of the things you probably don't realize is, there's been over 40,000 deaths this year just in this flu season alone. But again, that's not on the news because we're living our lives, we're doing things, we're going to be smarter now, we're going to wash our hands more, which we should have been doing anyways, right? So again, be positive and lead your people. They need to understand there are really good things going on in the world. And let's focus on that. Let's be smart in our daily activities, but focus on positivity. All right? Next is, let's not argue with the facts. This is an interesting concept here. The fact of a pandemic is fact. It's not hearsay. You can choose to argue or choose to learn the new rules to play and win. All right? The fact that if you need stuff from Costco or HEB, you're probably waiting in line for 45 minutes. So maybe you have to shop differently, right? Fact, we're working, shopping, and entertaining from home. It's just the new rules. So how are we going to successfully navigate our business and our lives through these new rules? Many of us will have to. Our kids are home from school. How will you structure your day? How are you gonna be able to still get business done and take care of your kids at the same time? All right, distribution methods will change. I went online a couple days ago to Amazon Prime and they have, the 2-hour delivery service. Well, now it's 3 days because all those slots are filled. So it's not an option. So maybe I have to use the app at Costco so I can order and just go in and pick it up versus waiting in line for 45 minutes. Maybe your business as a supplier's needs to change. Are you a supplier, or how do you depend on your suppliers out there? How will you change it? Are you like many of our clients that get products from China? Now shipping just started again. So maybe you needed to change where you're getting that from. Understand the facts, understand what we need to do. Now, this is interesting. I am on a daily call with other leaders, coaches and leaders throughout the country, and one of them talked about chapter. This pandemic is a chapter, and it may be months long. What I learned about chapters yesterday was a lot of human psychology needs to know when something's going to end. So you think about it. We play a sports game and we know the time will expire. There's an end. We catch a flu or the cold. We know typically it lasts, what, a few days to 2 weeks. And that gives us comfort that we will be okay. And when there's not clear understanding when something ends, then there's more of the FUD, right? The fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So a lot more challenges. We don't know when the pandemic will end, but maybe we can say it's probably a couple of months long based on what we're seeing in China, in other countries that this hit first. Maybe our chapter's about 60 days. But again, it's just a chapter. And the recession that is most likely to come, and unfortunately it's going to, will be several months long. Now, once the pandemic chapter ends, we can extrapolate on when people will get back to going out and spending again. Remember this, again, being positive. We have a strong economy that is our foundation that led up right to this happening. Now, all the experts believe this potential recession, I've been on some calls with some economic experts, will not be like the 08-09 recession, which lasted well over a year. This will most likely just be months. So again, it will have its chapter. So helping people understand that it's a chapter in the book of life. It is fact that this will have a limited amount of time. Number of days, weeks, months, again, we don't know fully yet, but we can, again, extrapolate from what's going on in China and other places to see that we're on the bottom end of the curve there. So we have our curve we have to get through as well. Okay? Create a plan. Anxiety grows when there is no plan. I actually did a post on social media, I think it was a week or two ago, and the title of it was, Got a Plan? And I went into that when we don't have a plan, problems seem bigger. And some of this is common knowledge, but it needs to be reminded to us. When we see plans are bigger, we get nervous when when we're not planning, we see problems as bigger than they are. So how are we planning? What's your plan for this week and next week? What marketing are you doing during the pandemic? I ran out this morning to get some caffeine so I could be energetic and ready to go today. And listening to some, the radio, heard some commercials on it. And if you're doing radio ads, I know some of you probably are, go change what your ad is to meet the needs of the people you're targeting today, right? And some of these ads I was listening to, and they weren't meeting the needs of what's going on. What's your plan? You're going to have, we do need to, by the way, market during the pandemic. And we're going to talk a little more about that on our call today. A lot of companies are hiding, as we've talked about. They're afraid, they don't know what to do. They're in FUD. We want to be a leader. We want to market. What are we doing with sales so we continue to try to bring in sales even though we probably have fewer leads? What's our plan from an operating with less revenue? We're obviously going to talk about that today as well as we keep going. Where are there opportunities to invest? Right? Where are there opportunities to invest? You got to think about that. Change. Change is inevitable. Step 5, right? The only constant in life is change. In change, and the speed of change is always uncomfortable. But how do I handle change? How do you handle change? We want to get ahead of it. Again, I keep saying, let's be leaders. Let's be leaders. So let's actually lead and actually be the change. All right? We want to get ahead. At ActionCoach, we teach a formula for change, and that's that. The sum of D times V plus F has to be greater than R. So D stands for dissatisfaction. What's our dissatisfaction? What's going on? I'm sure we have a lot of that right now. What's our vision, meaning clarity? Do we see, when we make the changes we need, do we have a clear picture of how the new environment will be, the new world, what it's going to look at, right? And then once we see that, we know the first steps we need to take in our plan. And all that has to be the sum greater than R, which stands for resistance. Right? So how are we looking at change? Change is here. It's always here. It's just going to be a little more unusual, maybe and intense than normal. How are you going to make change in the products you offer, your services? Pricing, maybe you got to do some discounting to keep cash flow. Delivery, how are you going to get out there? Your staffing, we're going to talk about that as well. And even your whole business. Maybe your whole business model needs to change for a few months. Again, what is your plan to change your model and keep cash flowing in your business? We cannot bury our heads in the sand. We need to face change and take action. We need to stay ahead of change, okay? Make sure you are doing that. Step 6, use your credit. I like to call other people's money. We've all heard the term OPM. Other people's money is getting cheaper and cheaper, right? We need to use it. The Fed dropped rates to near 0 on Sunday. It's the cheapest time to borrow. Now we need to be smart. In business, you need to know your numbers. I say that to our when I do events, when I'm teaching, and obviously to our clients, you need to know your numbers. So work with your coach, your advisors, your CPA, financial advisors to make good decisions for you personally and professionally. But cash is cheap right now, and now it can provide a safety net if we're smart with it, right? So credit lines, credit cards, the way it works, interest rates drop fast. Like I said, they just dropped to 0 from the Fed, which all rates are based off of, but they go up very slowly typically. Now, just because rates may be low, but lending requirements may change quickly. So again, we're recommending to our clients that if it makes sense, let's go borrow some money now. Let's have some cash in reserve. Let's do some refinancing on a personal as well, by the way. A friend of mine last week, before things started to get really nuts, let me know he actually just refied his mortgage, dropped from 3.7 to 2.7% and saved over $500 a month. Now that's a 1% change, as he said, but actually if you think about it statistically, not to geek out on you on the math a little bit, but I like to, that's actually a 27% decrease in his interest rate, which is ridiculously awesome. Now, the Fed funds rates is again at 0, which means mortgage rates now as of Sunday are going to go even lower. So you can still get a lower rate this week. Now think about it. Saving $500 a month over the next 12 months will save my friend over $70,000. So what are you doing when you look at looking at your lines of credit, both personally and professionally, so that you can reduce payments, have more cash in your pocket? That's both in your credit lines, your credit cards, personal. Where can you refinance, and do this immediately, because the credit requirements will change quickly, but they haven't yet, right? So people's money. We highly recommend people use OPM to grow and invest in your business, and it's a huge benefit. So let's look to do that. All right, we're getting money, we're reducing rates. Yes, we have to cut back. Cutting costs has to be a top priority in the crisis. The key is to lower costs intelligently and flexibly, though, thus minimizing negative long-term repercussions, okay? So be ready to pull the trigger on where you need to cut back, okay? Slow things down. Cash is king. Stop spending where you can. Where can you reduce outlays? Where can you renegotiate now? We talked about, do we need to call our vendors? Do we need to call our suppliers, our landlord? We need to slow things down and maybe even postpone. One of my clients on last week, we were talking as things were starting to come around, said, hey, I'm thinking of rolling out a rebranding strategy. Should I do it? And of course I said, no, not right now. Because part of it is we're not sure what the rebrand is fully needs to look like as we go through this economic crisis. So let's slow it down. Yes, we still want to market. We still are going to keep marketing, but we need to slow some things down, let things work. I don't know if you know, it's a good time to be smart in business to capture market share, right? And cash is needed for that. Some of you might know the owner of the Houston Rockets, Tillman Fertitta. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. He, in his recent book, which I read at the end of last year, Shut Up and Listen, he talked about how he built his empire during the S&L crisis in the 80s, right? He owns casinos, he owns Landry's restaurants, he owns hotels, and he was smart with his cash so that as he saw this coming, He held on to cash because there's going to be opportunity to buy businesses cheap, to buy market share when things slow down. Because again, not every business owner is on this call like you guys are. They're not being smart. They're not getting the information so they can make good decisions as you guys are. Again, in crisis, there's going to be opportunity. And as business owners, we need to look at that. And that's just a fact. If we want to survive and grow our business, we have to look at those opportunities as we do that, right? Keep marketing and selling. Again, you can imagine there is a step in here specifically about that. We need to keep being out there, communicating, figuring out what our clients need and selling it to them. This is a tough one. Staffing cuts and changes. And I know this is emotional because as small business owners, you care so much about your company. You care so much about, more importantly, your team, right? But one way to reduce the need for layoffs would be to cut back hours, spread the availability among more employees. You need to know your numbers. Can we put people on unpaid vacations to help stem the flow? What cuts can we do? Do we need to cut staff all at once, or as there's attrition, obviously not hire, and not just today, but over these next few months as we see what happens? Are pay cuts an option? I spoke with one of my clients last night. She's a wholesaler in the retail business. As we know, a lot of the retail stores have closed and are obviously, unfortunately, going to be closing. And she's a small company, about 7 employees. She decided this morning, she's going to be laying them all off or furloughing them. And we talked, and it was emotional. She was obviously crying because she cares so much about her team. She's been in business for about 7, 8 years now. And I said to her, I go, well, you've got 2 options as the business owner, right? You can try to keep paying them for another month, and then you run out of money and you close your business for good. Or you can put them on furlough, lay them off, whatever word you want to use, to where you stem, obviously in retail, she has no cash flow, where you can survive so that when we come down on the backside of the curve and people start getting back out there spending money, you are in position to rehire them immediately so that long-term they have a job, right? So these are the things we have to look at, right? Your business is an entity. It has a heartbeat, it has blood flow, and it has to survive just like us as humans. So you need to help it survive and make some difficult decisions sometimes. You control the heartbeat and the blood flow. You have to decide to act to keep it healthy. You decide what causes it to survive and keep it living. And some, again, have to make hard decisions, but you are the doctor and the leader of your entity. So how will you triage? What is your plan, right? What actions will you take? Reduced hours. There's so many options. And again, we're offering complimentary coaching sessions this week. You'll get the link to book one if you'd like to. We can talk about this plan for you specifically. Do we suspend bonus programs? Operations are going to have to change, right? The smaller the company, the faster they can pivot. Therefore, let's pivot, right? This is a silver lining. We have the ability to change. How will we communicate that change though, right? How will changing your business to still have a business and have positive cash flow? Work from home. Are you setting up your employees? I know a lot of companies already last week were starting to shift there. Some of our clients, obviously this week, a lot of that's going on. What are the technology needs? How do we keep having meetings and reporting? Even if they're not meetings about growing the business, it's meetings to communicate with the staff, what the plan is, what's changing, what's going on. They're worried. Get rid of the FUD through communication. How do we keep positive cash flow? Customer service. How are we going to service our customers now? One of my law offices who's a client, last week she was already sending everyone home, but they set up a drop box, a locked box, similar to like a bank has, so clients can still drop off documents, and someone who, it's a very skeleton crew in the office, can go out and get them. This way they're minimizing human contact. Banking and mailing. How you can do your banking, how you can get your mail. Simple things we got to keep an eye on. Whatever it is, we need to do it quickly and fast. We need to know what we're doing, and that is the benefit, again, the silver lining of being a small business, because this may be weeks, it may be months. We just don't know yet, right? So what are we doing and how are we looking to operationally change? What are your thoughts already on that, right? Online deliveries, right? CNN announced, there was a CNN story, and this was last week as things were happening. CVS Pharmacy was a leader in the industry. They waived delivery fees for all prescription drugs. This way they can rather bring it and have less people in the pharmacy. How are you doing that in your business? You need to bring clarity into your thinking. Again, when we come back to step 2, positivity, breathing, what clarity are we bringing in so we can figure out, how do we go online? How do we do deliveries? Do you do deliveries now? Do we need to add it? Do we need to shift some of our staff who now are delivery drivers, right? What's our online delivery or phone? How are we answering the phones? Do we need to man the phones a little more? Things we need to change. Again, staffing changes. Maybe we have people who we need to change their role short term because we want to keep the business going. Maybe we have to pay them a little reduced hours, but we can change the seat on the proverbial bus they sit in to help us change operationally what we're doing so we can keep the business going. Cash is king, right? We need cash coming in, so how can we do that? So our businesses, we can still do it, right? People won't come to you. We see in a lot of cities right now, what are they doing? They're shutting down bars and restaurants and gyms, and more is gonna come. So how can we still service the community? Again, we're the leaders. How are we being leaders in changing our business to service the community? Again, I've said it before and I'm gonna keep saying it because it's important to hear. We have people out there, businesses that are running and hiding. How are you gonna plan, make the changes and communicate that? How are you packaging in accounts? What are we doing? Communicate with customers, right? You keep hearing me say communication because yes, it's one of the most important thing. Open, honest, and often communication. That's why it's on a lot within a lot of these steps, besides just step 1. And just a reminder, again, as you have questions, please type them into the chat so we can get to those afterwards. All right, step 11, keep marketing. People and businesses are still buying, either from you or from someone else. Now I know some of the businesses on here, you are shut down. And like I said, my wholesale jeweler is just shut down for a couple of weeks, and hopefully not longer, but we'll see. But a lot of you have opportunities. Again, my favorite local restaurant I get to walk to, they put together a to-go menu. They just put out another email today that they are shutting down the restaurant as far as you can't go to it, but they have a to-go menu. They've put out their rules of how they're gonna keep cleanliness. Obviously, they're gonna have a delivery service as well. Some of us, we're gonna be home, and by the way, we don't like to cook. Now, personally, I love to cook, but I know there's some people on this call that don't. So how are we still gonna get our food? Restaurants are delivering. Is there a drive-through window, right? But we must keep marketing. At ActionCoach, we talk about with them, what's in it for me? So when we build our marketing, we have to hit on in that emotional attachment to the with them for our prospects and our customers. So what's the with them now, right? What's in it for me? I want to feel safe. I want to feel that you're clean and I'm not going to get contaminated somehow. Again, as I said, I was listening to ads on the radio this morning when I went out to get some caffeine, and it's the same ad they played 2 weeks ago. We need to change how we are advertising, how we're marketing. And if we're not marketing, we need to look to invest in marketing, shift some of the cash we have into marketing to go grab market share. So again, be a leader. Don't be stuck in FUD. Let's be a leader and get out there, let people know we want to increase, not decrease, right? This is a competition opportunity, right? Opportunity to grow your business for some of you. So how are we doing that from a marketing standpoint? We need to be smart, and we need to be out there. Again, get with your advisors, get with your leadership team. How do we change our marketing now? Understand the new with them, what's in it for me, what we're saying, right? Create new offers and rates. If you're sitting on a bunch of inventory, even if you sell it at a loss, you're still bringing in cash. Cash is king. Cash is gonna get you through this. Measure your 5 ways and adjust strategies within 5 ways. Now, I know I have a few of my clients on here, so you understand what 5 ways is. Some of you might not have heard of this. You can go to YouTube and search ActionCoach 5 ways. This is our sales and marketing, what we call our 5 ways business chastity. This is a big part of the Action Coach program of how we do sales and marketing. So go watch a YouTube video on it. There's a bunch of them. And I'll talk about with them, and I'll talk about how you generate more leads, how you increase your conversion rates. And again, we can get on a complimentary coaching call to talk about your 5 ways and look at your numbers. Obviously, right now we're adjusting it. We need to adjust what we're doing. So again, that's on YouTube. You can find the Action Coach 5 ways. Cash up front. If you usually sell things on credit, you might want to switch to cash up front, or at least part of cash up front. All right. So I know that's 11 steps, but as I was putting this together, a couple more things, and as I've been on my daily calls with the leaders I work with, I decided we needed a couple bonus steps. Repeat business, right? Every contact we have with a customer influences whether or not they'll come back. We have to be great every time or we'll lose them. Our number 1 asset in our business is obviously our team. Our number 2 asset, though, is our customers. Existing customers are the best customers. I did a workshop last week called Double Your Customers, and I talked to everyone there about how we can double your customers from your current customers. Repeat business, right? They like you. Create special deals for them. Get them to buy in bulk. Again, how do we get rid of some inventory? Cash up front. We need to keep our customers at all costs in the businesses that we can. And if you're in a business that, like, does need to shut down, you need to be, again, communicating with your customers, letting them know that we're going to have some deals when things get open to bring them back into the fold. But look at your customer base for more business. Again, discounts. Normally I'm not big on discounts, but this is a different time. Discounts can help get rid of inventory that you have capital in. Let's get some of that capital into cash. Communication, again, is vital. We all hear the 80-20 rule in life. How are we, 80% of our business typically comes from 20% of our customers. We coach on, we have our A clients, B clients, C, D clients. What are you doing for your A clients? Depending on the size of your business, can you make a personal call to them? Do you have that? Do you have their phone number? Some businesses you may, some businesses you don't, but reach out to them. And again, put an offer out there. Think about the whiff and what's in it for me, and give them an offer. People are at home. They're buying more online because there's only so much Netflix you can watch, right? The second bonus step, double bonus, right? It's kind of like that great concert. If we clap loud enough, they come on out and they give us an encore. So here's our bonus. I heard the cheering. Common sense and compassion, everyone. The key is to set realistic customer expectations, and then not to just meet them, but to exceed them, right? Preferably in unexpected and helpful ways. Again, how are we being a beacon of hope in our community, a beacon of positivity? We're over-delivering on customer service, right? Clean and don't touch. Let them know the things we're doing. Again, common sense. Providing sanitizers if people are coming in to where your business is. Do you have a skeleton crew or people working at home? And for everything, guys, put people first. And I know most of us do, but everyone's going to be a little more stressed. Everyone's going to be a little more, on edge. Let's remember to put people first, and let's be nice and take a chill pill, right? Let's just take a chill pill. Maybe I'm dating myself there, but that's the verbiage I used. And by the way, let's not buy too much toilet paper. Like I said, I was in Target yesterday. They have more toilet paper. You want to hear, by the way, let me share a story with you about a great marketing, how to shift your marketing. I was at a networking event last week, and at networking events, you get up, you give your 30-second speech. And there was a plumber there, Tom, and Tom gets up, and this was when the toilet paper crisis was hitting. And Tom says, "Hey, Tom with ABC Plumbing, and listen, I know a lot of you are concerned about running out of toilet paper, so come see me afterwards. We can schedule you tonight and tomorrow and get a bidet put into your bathroom. So not only do you not need toilet paper, but your butt will be cleaner than it ever was." He found a new way to market, an opportunity. And guess what? A few people went up to him afterwards. I don't know if he sold more bidets, but he saw an opportunity of how to shift his message. And it gave us all a good laugh too, right? So again, common sense and compassion. Be the leader in the community through your voice of positivity. And in the end, right, learn, plan, act. Don't procrastinate. We talked about we have to have a plan. We need to have a plan, and don't procrastinate. Procrastination comes from perfection and leads to regret. By the way, you probably have enough knowledge already. You've been on calls like this. You're on this call today. You're listening to the news. You're reading. Again, don't do that too much, but just enough. You can create an action plan in the next few hours, right? If I had everyone here, I'd ask for a show of hands who's creating an action plan yet. Get to it if you haven't. As you get new information, keep doing it, right? You can and should create your own deadlines. By the way, I see a couple people doing some photos with their phone on this. This is being recorded. We'll put this presentation online, so you'll get access to that today. Obviously, keep taking pictures. I love seeing that, but you'll get access to it as well. You can and should create your own deadlines on the things you're doing. When are you gonna, look at your numbers again. What are the numbers in your business? Look at your numbers to know when you have to start making the cuts. Know the cuts you can make and start looking at those numbers as your numbers to guide when you pull the trigger. But don't wait. Pull the trigger sooner than later on a lot of this stuff. The old saying, as Grandma taught us, right? You can turn lemons into lemonade. So let's do that. Where's the lemons that we have? How do we make a great lemonade out of it? You are the leaders, and you need to lead, right? Be the leader in your home, in your business, in your community. And remember, guys, breathe, relax, prioritize, and execute. This is something I got a few years ago. I had he was 14 then, so 4 years ago, my son, who's a baseball player, went to a weekend of Navy SEAL training. Yep, that's the kind of dad. I put my son through Navy SEAL training at 14. And at the end of the 2 days, the retired Navy SEAL guys got up and says, listen, obviously the Navy SEALs who protect our country and protect our freedoms, they do so much, and they're put in situations that we can't even think of. And I know there's some great military people on this call, and thank you for your service. He says, in the proverbial, what hits the fan, we can't panic. We need to relax, and that means breathe. And then we need to look at what's in front of us and prioritize what we need to do to get through this, and then we need to execute on our plan. So again, relax, prioritize, breathe. All right? So to finish up, at the end of this call, I encourage you to list 5 ideas you need to take action on today. When you get off this call, do that. Then get with your coach, your advisor, whoever it is in your life and your business, and make your 90-day plan. Whatever 90-day plan you had, it needs to change because there's new things going on. As I mentioned, and we're about to get to the Q&A piece, I'm offering complimentary 30-minute coaching calls to everyone here on this call and part of AiBA. You can go to my website, webelieveIngrowth.com. Click on in the top right, you'll see Coach's calendar, and then you'll see Coaching Getting Through a Crisis. That's a link to my calendar. So please click on that and set a call. I'm here to help, guys. This is why after a 30-year career I went into coaching, so I can help support the community I live in. I've extended my hours. My hours are from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and I also have hours on Saturday. Off the top of my head, I think they're from 8 to 2. Again, it's all on the calendar, so please, webelieveIngrowth.com. Go to the coach's calendar, as you see on the menu there, and click on Coaching Getting Through a Crisis. I'm here to help you guys. At that point, we're in the Q&A piece. I haven't seen if you guys want to type up in Q&A, if you want to type in any questions you have. I'll do my best to answer as many as we can. We have about 12 minutes left, so I'll give you guys a few minutes to type something in there. All right. We've got a few thank yous. I appreciate that. My pleasure. Thank you for being on this call. Hopefully, I guess there we go. All right. SBA loans for disaster. Who is eligible? Also, the state of Texas. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm an expert on SBA loans. Get with your bankers. If you need a good recommendation for a banker, I network and work with a good handful. There's amazing bankers out there. So get with them. I've seen I get the emails from the SBA. Obviously, I am a small business owner, by the way. That's who I am, who does coaching. So yeah, there's a lot of information online. I don't want to put my proverbial foot in my mouth and tell you what to do. So definitely get with your bankers. I know the banks are still open. They might only allow you to go through drive-through, but they're answering the phone. So get with your bankers. And again, I can recommend some great ones. Another question, how much communication with customers is too much? In this day, in this moment, in this crisis, and we are in a crisis, I don't think there really is too much. You know, we all get the spam in the past. As long as it's effective communication, as long as you're putting an offer out there, you're sharing information. Once a day, you should be communicating with your customers depending on your business. Absolutely. For some businesses, you know, my restaurant, I got 2 emails from them yesterday because as things change, they had to communicate. So hopefully, based on your business, there's something to communicate every day, even if it's just to check in. As information comes out and changes, you're going to communicate more as well. So that's, you know, up to you. But again, don't hesitate to reach out to me. My numbers are on my website at webelieveingrowth.com. So you can always, that's my cell phone number I actually put on there. So you can call me, text me as you're doing things. I'm here to help you guys. Absolutely. I just want to put that up. We're still in Q&A, but I want to put that up. Obviously, thank you to Dixie and getting us all together. Advice about ways to not get into political conversations. That's a great question. And in this day and age, even before that, that's a great question. Again, you know, my personal opinion, and it doesn't matter what your politics are. I mean, we're a great country and we have the freedom to be, you know, say what we want and feel and believe what we want. Just again, back to common sense and just being kind to one another. So if people want to get into politics, you know, you can just kind of say, hey, I appreciate your opinion. Right now, I'm just focused on the steps I need to take for my family and my business and to support the community. And just something as simple as that. You don't have to engage. It's up to you, but you don't have to engage. Just, you know, it's a way of acknowledging, not putting anyone down and deflecting. All right. Any other questions? I know those are some great ones. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, everyone, for the gratitude. Again, I want to thank and congratulate you all for being on this call. I look forward to hopefully meeting some of you. I think I've met some of you just looking at some of the names on here at one of the AiBA events already earlier this year, and look forward to meeting you as things settle down at new ones, and just helping one another, supporting one another. So if there's no other questions, I'm going to turn it over to Dixie. And again, just thank you, everyone, and I wish everyone the best, and please use me as a resource. Click on the, again, webelieveingrowth.com and book some time. And even if you just want to talk something besides business, just to have a good laugh. I know a couple jokes. My son says they're dad jokes, but I'm willing to share them. Anyways, Dixie, back to you. Oh, I think I have you muted. Hold on.
Great. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Scott. This was amazing. I appreciate your honesty, for you taking the time to do this with us. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Again, I know that we did this a little earlier than we usually do things, so we appreciate you getting up and caffeinated. We're going to, as he mentioned, have a recording of it. We're going to make that available to all of our members so that you can mull it over on your own. You can share it with people on your team as you need to. And I want to just reiterate what I said at the beginning. Supporting local business in Austin and our members is central to the mission of our organization. So reach out to us if you need anything at all. I think we'll close that and let everybody go think about all that we have to think about now. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Scott, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dixie, for putting this together.
Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.